Crystal Tower Information Whiskey 21530 Zulu, wind 060 at 5.
076 Mike Juliet, this is departure radar contact.
Ice weather information from Minnesota available on flight service frequency.
You've dialed in the Flying Midwest podcast, connecting aviators from across America's heartland, sharing news, information, and events from around the region.
Calling Yankee 53 on Oak Tower, Roger, turn left heading 070, runway 9er, clear for takeoff.
Sit back, relax, and join our crew for some hangar talk as we discuss a wide variety of regional aviation topics.
Departure 71143, flying flight, runway 28 left, push takeoff, left hand south first.
And now, from our home at the Anoka County Blaine Airport, our checklist is complete, and we're ready for departure for another episode of the Flying Midwest podcast.
Contact departure, every flight.
What is going on, everyone? Jim here with the Fly Midwest podcast. So happy you're able to join us. We are 1 week away from Airventure, which could only mean one thing: our 2023 Airventure Call-In Extravaganza Spectacular. We're joined by Ed and Caitlin from the Flying Stampede, Christy Wong from Taking Off, Bob and Jordan from Pilot's Quarters, and the Badger pilot himself. So strap in and let's take off into this special episode of the Flying Midwest podcast. Welcome to a very exciting episode of the Flying Midwest podcast. I'm Jim.
And I'm Maddie.
And we are going to have some fun tonight.
We're going to have an extra spectacular extravaganza amount of fun.
That's right. Welcome to the 2023 Airventure Call-In Extravaganza Spectacular Extraordinaire. I added a word.
I know you added a word.
This is a fun time of the year where we get to talk to people who are fans of the podcast, as well as some folks that we've met along the way over the last year and a half of doing this podcast that we're excited to meet and chat with at Oshkosh.
We're going to ask them about what their favorite memory is, what they've been doing, what they want to do, and a little bit about them. So stay tuned for all of our lovely guests.
The big event is a week away at this point. So if you're not pumped now, I don't know what more it's going to take to get you super excited about Oshkosh. But hopefully this episode will get you in the spirit once again, in case that's worn off from your listen to the Dick Mapinski episode.
Little refresher, little booster.
I'm pumped. I've been pumped for weeks. I can't wait to get out there and meet some of the folks we've talked to on the podcast and some of you that listen to the podcast. So I'm super, super excited for this event.
Me too. I am absolutely giddy, losing sleep and everything, which is great. It's the biggest aviation event of the year. It's something to get excited about.
So this is something that we asked, I think, every single guest that we're going to have on tonight. But I'm going to ask you, Maddie, what's something that you're really looking forward to this year?
I mean, I have so many people that I'm going to meet. Like, I've made so many friends, I feel like, the last year just in, instructing and doing things online, doing things with the podcast. Jim and I are going to be buzzing all over the place doing interviews and things. But really, there's so many people that I can't wait to meet in person and people that I get to meet just for the first time. So I think that's what I've got to be traditionally most excited about, but also B-52. So,
all right, I will steal your answer. I'm also looking forward to meeting all sorts of people. I mean, again, guests that we've had on the podcast, listeners of the podcast, and I'm also looking forward to some of the opportunities that we're going to have just through the podcast and some of the interviews that we're going to be able to look into. I don't want to spoil anything yet, but we have a few really exciting interviews coming up that we're going to do at Oshkosh with a couple of folks that we will have in future episodes, probably very shortly after Oshkosh.
I don't know if anybody's heard. If you haven't heard, we will be crashing the YouTuber presentation at Stage 9 on the first day of Oshkosh, 2:30 to 4. I would encourage you to attend because I'm sure if you're listening to the podcast, you are also active on the aviation YouTuber scene. So go check that out. We will be heckling in the crowd. And also afterwards, we will have a little bit of a meetup. So if you are interested in meeting us or meeting the Badger pilot or, there will be numerous people around and about. So please come say hi. We'll be wearing brightly colored shirts and being obnoxious.
Correct. Yeah. First and foremost, I don't want to, say that we're crashing this event. We're going to check out this event as fans of these YouTubers. So again, to check out their content, to see if there's anyone that wants to talk to us on future episodes of the podcast, or just make other connections and networking within the creator space. The second part of that would be meeting all of you. So we will do that meetup in that area of stage 9 shortly thereafter the YouTuber meetup presentation. So please come check it out. The other thing I think we need to talk about is coming up this Saturday, the Saturday before Airventure, we are all going to be at the air show at Flying Cloud Airport, brought to you by Wings of the North. That is in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. All 3 of us will be there, including Trevor, and you can have a chance to come and chat with us. If you're in Minnesota and can't make it out to Oshkosh, or if you want to meet us both times, we'll talk to you all kinds of times.
Oh, yeah. There will be cool stuff there. If you haven't been, I would encourage you to just go just because. They've got a lot of really cool stuff. I think B-17 Yankee, will Yankee Lady be there with the AD?
I thought it was on the list, but let me double check.
Okay, because I know they had that emergency AD, so I'm not sure.
Well, let's talk about what's going on with the Wings of the North. Here's what we've got here. Yankee Lady will be there.
Sweet.
Both days of the event, and that's July 22nd and 23rd. The rest of the lineup is a TVM Avenger. There's a F4 Corsair. They've got a Stearman. They've got P-51 Sierra Sioux. They've got the Minnesota State Patrol has what's called the Air Rescue Team in coordination with the St. Paul Fire Department. They will be out there doing some demonstrations. Plus, as I take a breath, T-6 Thunders, an A-10 C-130 featuring some guy we've heard of named Trevor, a Black Hawk helicopter, Customs and Border Patrol, and just a whole ton of cool stuff. So come and check that event out. Come and pester us. We may put out like a specific time at the event of when we might want to meet up with folks. But if you're there, shoot us a message on our social media, and we would love to come and meet you somewhere on the grounds and just chit-chat.
Yep. I actually know the guy who has the Avenger. He's from Peru, Illinois. His name is Brad. He's a good dude. Really takes good care of his airplane. Oh, if you guys haven't seen the Air Rescue Team, oh my gosh, their demo is insane. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't, but I'm excited to see that.
It's insane. Go check it out. It's a really, really awesome air show. So highly recommend.
Oh, one other thing that we're talking about doing, not confirmed yet, but we might take a trip out to the seaplane base one of those afternoons, depending on weather and what's going on with different events and different opportunities we have for interviews. A separate opportunity for a meetup, potentially at the seaplane base. More information on that we will post once we get into the week a little bit next week. We'll put some information out on where you might be able to find us. But again, at Oshkosh, if you are not able to come to the meetup and you want to say hey, shoot us a message on social media and we will try to make some arrangements to come and find you or for you to find us at the big event. So, Manny, there's something that normally happens at this point in the episode before we jump into things, but I'm going to let you take this part.
All right, news for this episode. Oshkosh is happening. Events for this episode. Oshkosh is happening. Thus concludes the news and events.
That was wonderful, and I'm so excited for both of those things.
It was so dumb.
But you know what? I'm using it.
I keep going back to the damn events lists on the EAA app and like checking all the ones. I've started doing that. I've been inspired. And I'm like, I want to go to 8 things at 8 o'clock on Monday morning.
Yeah, you're just on Monday and you're like, I look at all these cool, shit, they're all at the same time.
Yeah, it sucks.
I'm going to be hitting that app up pretty significantly here the next few days to figure out my own itinerary for what's going to go on. So we have quite a few people to get to tonight, so let's dive right into this call-in Extravaganza Spectacular Extraordinaire and start chatting with some folks.
Sounds great. Let's hit it.
So we'll start out with Ed and Caitlin. They are from the YouTube channel, The Flying Stampede. Welcome back, you guys.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. It's nice to have you guys back. You guys were with us last year for our call-in and talked a bit about riding out the storms. It was your first year at Oshkosh, right, Caitlin? The year before that?
Yes, last year was, 2 years ago was my first year at Oshkosh. Yes. It was awesome.
So year 2 was last year, right?
Yes, year 2 was last year for me, and I was all set to go. I made it through a pandemic without getting COVID.
Oh,
up until the day before we were supposed to go.
Oh, no.
So I did not get to go. We were going with both of our moms and Ed. and the three of them went along without me. And I stayed back and weathered the COVID storm. It wasn't terrible, but I was very bummed about not going. But I promised to make a comeback this year. I am going. We'll be there. Well, I'll be there Wednesday through the end of the week, tent camping. And I am not planning on getting COVID.
That's a solid plan not to
It is
get
a good
COVID.
plan, yeah.
I tried that for a couple years and I've been successful so far. So
Like I said, I avoided it for, at that point, it was almost 2.5 years of not getting COVID and
Yeah.
working in healthcare at that time.
Oh,
And,
wow.
like, everyone else around us had it, and she's like, "I got this. Like, it's not going to get me."
Spoke too soon. So
right
anyways,
until a big event you want to go to.
Yes, right up day before. But I'm glad I didn't, have it happen while I was there and have other people around me. It worked out the way it was supposed to work out. So that's okay. But I'd had a great time, and he can tell you about his time.
Yeah, so I know you guys partner with, just started partnering up with Lightspeed. Well, that was the first year that I got to partner with them as well. So I got to work with Lightspeed Monday through Wednesday at their booth, just kind of pointing people to the right direction as to where they should go to do headset demos or ask questions or technical support. So I did that for 3 days, met some cool people. And then that's when I got the call from Caitlin on the last day was, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. So you get to spend the whole rest of the week with our moms." So
Yay!
yay, mom time.
I shouldn't laugh. Maybe that was a really good experience for you. Maybe I'm making some
It was
assumptions.
interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. So, but yeah, like my mom's one of my biggest supporters, and she always loves coming to Airventure. So it was nice to have her, and that was Caitlin's mom's second time being there, but her first time camping there. So she got the full experience of hanging out and watching me run around like a kid in a candy store. So
Yeah, and she's not much of a tent camper. I think there was a few nights she ended up sleeping in the car.
yeah, I woke up in the middle, in the morning, and I was looking around. I'm like, where the hell is she? And then I get out because thought maybe that she was just hanging out outside, and I look inside her car and she's dead asleep in the car. I'm like, okay, whatever floats your boat.
You make it work. You can make anywhere home if you have a couple blankets and a pillow. And
Right.
And like we talked about last year, there's always going to be one weather day that is just not going to be ideal.
Usually there's two. There's one on like before Oshkosh starts, like Saturday or Sunday, and then Wednesday, or like it's usually Wednesday. It's almost always Wednesday, and that didn't happen last year for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah.
But
was it the Sunday or Saturday before?
Yeah, it was the Saturday before. My dad, it was absolutely nuts. Were you the guys there when the tornado was 2 years ago? Were you guys there for that? Yeah. That was
it was like a rave in our tent. It just like the lightning and people screaming. And...
Oh dear.
Just kidding.
Was it you screaming, Ed?
Maybe. Don't tell anyone.
Okay, it'll be our secret. Just the 5 of us here.
Yeah. So 2021, there was the storm. Not much last year during the event. So what do we think we're going to get this year?
Ooh, good question.
I think. I don't know if I should say something or if I don't want to jinx it.
Find some wood to knock on and then say it.
Yeah. Well, I'll knock on the dog. I think it's going to be the best weather at Airventure yet.
I like it.
Okay, let's go with that. We'll just put out the good.
Yeah, put out those good vibes.
The good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Manifest it.
Aside from you not being there, Caitlin, what was the biggest highlight, I guess, Ed, for last year's show for you?
And you cannot say Caitlin not being there. That is a bad answer.
Oh, man. Dang it. It was the first time that I got to go to the Twilight Flight Fest where they do the Stoll demo and all that. So for me, that was like, something brand new, which, I pretty much have seen everything there at least 7 times at this point, which is not a bad thing. But it was cool to see something different and new that I've never seen before. And also too, I think that the food vendors were better. And having Dunkin' Donuts on the field was like a game changer for me.
They have so much of our money. Oh my gosh, we got coffee at least twice a day, if not 3 times. It's like, how could you not? It's like good cold brew. Sign me up and get me one of those mugs.
Oh, I'm jealous. I missed them. And I saw your post on Facebook, and I was like, they have mugs? And by the time I got a chance to go there, they were all gone.
Did you put a sticker on it, though?
Mm-mm. No, it came like that.
No, one of our stickers.
No.
It came like
that's
that
on my
with one of
water
ours?
bottle.
Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind.
I was wearing Flying Midwest podcast merch like the whole time.
Yeah, I think I saw you a couple times. When I was at Lightspeed, I was yelling at you, and you totally ignored me. So
I didn't ignore you. I'm sorry. I never heard you. I feel so bad. I still feel bad.
Just kidding.
Literally, like a couple days ago, Jim was like, "Oh yeah, we're having the Flying Stampede on." And I'm like, I still feel bad about not saying hi to
she
Ed.
does this and covers her face up. So what are you two most looking forward to this year?
for me, since being part of aviation and doing the YouTube thing and doing the social media thing, and even surprisingly, I'm a big craft beer drinker, and finding other people that are into craft beer that also fly airplanes, which is such a weird subset of people, but just meeting all these different people from all these different groups and having that same common interest and just getting to spend time together with them. Because I mean, a lot of times you only see someone at Oshkosh maybe like once a year, and then you don't ever see them till next Oshkosh. So just getting that whole group together again and just hanging out and having fun and talking about airplanes, that's what I'm most looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the night air shows. I like
Those are so
those.
fun.
The fireworks are like nothing else. You really can't compare. I feel like it's better than 4th of July, those night air shows. So we'll be there Wednesday through Sunday. So I hope we get to see both of them, weather permitting.
Yep.
Well, Thursday, Saturday, the Wednesday one always gets pushed.
Yes, that's what. Yeah,
Not this year though.
not this year.
It can't
Not
this
this
year.
year.
It's
Yeah,
at least
right,
Thursday morning.
right. We're manifesting good weather. Yeah, right. That's right.
What are you looking forward to?
Going.
Oh, boy. Go.
Oh, you're going this year. Okay.
That's a great answer, actually. So, Ed, are you planning as a craft beer drinker? Are you planning on collecting all of the 70th anniversary beer cans?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
I think it's just
I don't
it's
drink
just
beer.
required. If you need someone to drink the beer out of the can and you just want the can, just let me know.
I'll give you a holler. Perfect.
That'd be cool. Something else to collect. So you got the Dunkin' Donuts cup and all the beers. So
And all kinds of other fun things.
right, the little windsock thing you put in your hat.
If you listened to our last episode, though, I did ask Dick Nabinski if I could just have the windsock from Oshkosh. So,
Like the legit one?
like the
big
legit one. He said talk to him on
Oh.
Sunday, so we'll see. I'm not holding my breath.
You should
Pilots to sign it. That would be the ultimate souvenir.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Or just-
that would be cool.
or just go and take
Jim.
it and say Dick, tell whoever tries to stop you that Dick said it was okay.
Yeah, Dick Nabinski says it's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to need Brian Turner with to videotape it, though, because that's going to make it more legit.
Probably buy us some forgiveness.
He definitely would.
I think he would. I'll ask him.
So I have a funny story about Brian Turner. So
Don't we all? Let's hear it.
I got to go to Sun and Fun with Lightspeed, and on my one day off before I had to come travel back to Wisconsin, I was just walking around and I went to go grab some lunch, and I'm sitting there in the picnic grove, and all the way at the other side of the picnic grove I see Dan Milliken and Brian's wife. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go over there and say hi to them. But I'm like, well, it's Brian. I got to say something funny or obnoxious to him. So I finished my lunch and I walked over and I was like, excuse me, guys, but do you know where all the popular YouTubers are?
Awesome.
And Brian's like, oh, yeah, I'm still trying to look for them myself. But it was,
He's a good sport
yeah,
about that.
They were super cool. And I mean, obviously they knew I was joking, but just really good guys. And Brian's wife was really nice too.
Yeah, Erin's
All
pretty
of it.
great. She's fun. And to put up with him, she's got to be a saint, I think.
Yes.
Well, thank you two for coming on our Airventure call-in Extravaganza Spectacular. Hopefully we can catch you guys out there and chat and catch up a little bit more.
We would love that.
Sound good.
Absolutely.
See you at Osh.
Oshkosh 2023.
Manifest it. Good weather. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, up next on our Airventure call-in Extravaganza Spectacular, Christy Wong from the YouTube channel Taking Off. How you doing, Christy?
Hello.
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. We are super excited for Oshkosh. I hope that you are too. You guys have a couple things cooking that we'll talk about in a couple minutes, but we're excited to come see you out there.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to go. Really excited.
So we're going to dive right into a couple of questions that we have for you. What do you remember of your first Oshkosh experience?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the first year, Steve and I had actually flown into Osh. We flew to Watoma in the Warrior. We didn't actually go to Oshkosh. Because I'm paranoid. You know, every summer Wisconsin gets those crazy hailstorms, and I was like, dude, this airplane is my life. I mean, I was in the throes of training, and I was like, if anything happens to this airplane, I will literally spontaneously combust. So we rented a hangar from a guy in Watoma, Wisconsin. We flew to Watoma, rented a car, and then drove to Oshkosh. And we had an Airbnb with some friends there. Yep. And that was basically and it was just amazing. I mean, everything about it. I was so overwhelmed by just how much fun and amazing it was. I remember waking up super early, going out to the flight line, watching airplanes land. That was honestly like the most incredible thing for me. But yeah, I mean, I did all the typical stuff. You know, I bought the swag. I saw all the things. I didn't see all the things. I tried, but they're just, a week just wasn't enough time. You know, I saw the night show, but yeah, it was just awesome. I love that we traveled like 1,200 miles to go hang out with friends that we live near in Texas, you know?
What's the Oshkosh experience of it?
Absolutely. They say you come for the flying, stay for the people, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So
yep.
Come for the airplane, stay for the people.
And we've heard time and again from different people. Last year we talked to people, and then we talked to Dick Napinski. So when we talked to him, he's like, yeah, it's just a big family reunion when you come out here.
Every year.
He goes, it's great to see people just pick up the conversation right where they left off last year.
Yep. And what's great is that you come with old friends and leave with new friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how that works. It's just, I wind up collecting more people every time I go.
So, Christy, we talked about your first memory, and it was awesome. But what is probably your favorite Oshkosh memory?
So I thought about this because I knew you guys were going to ask me. And honestly, one year, so I know that Steve and I are divorced now, but we're still really good friends. We co-parent our son really well. We do really, really good in that realm. And back in 2019, he actually had a brick commissioned for us, and he surprised me with it as my birthday present that year. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's awesome.
This year we've even talked about going back to visit the brick. You know, we're gonna go and because there's like no hard feelings there or anything. We're both in good places, you know, and so we're like, yeah, let's go see the brick. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we'll run into each other and go check out the brick. So that was my favorite memory.
Aww,
that's a great memory.
So what are you looking forward to this year, aside from the brick?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just looking forward. I'm really looking forward to getting out. We're doing a couple of events, you know, like the YouTuber events and stuff. And so we're going to get to meet with the fans. I'm really looking forward to just seeing some of my friends that I haven't seen in a year. They're going to have some cool new displays at Oshkosh that I'm really looking forward to seeing. But honestly, it's the people, man. Like, yeah, you can have all the airplanes and the airplanes are cool, but what are airplanes without people? And so I'm really looking forward to seeing my people, like, you know, Noel Phillips, you know, and Josh Flowers is going to be there. I haven't seen Josh since the last time we filmed in the hangar, but like, these are the times that I get to see my people and hang out with them. And that's honestly what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm excited to see my people too. Everybody's people. I love it. That's what I love about Oshkosh. Everybody's there for the same thing, and I think that's why it's so much fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys there.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun.
Yes.
I've had a lot of fun the couple times we've talked, and it's been really great. So I'm looking forward to meeting you in person finally.
Yeah, exactly.
I like what you said about like going to see old friends, but collecting new ones too. Like that's what I'm excited about, seeing what kind of friends I collect at this event that I didn't know I was going to have right now today.
Right, exactly. Last year I made a good friend. Him and his wife came, and he's actually starting his flight training finally this year. And we start, you know, he follows me on social media and stuff. And he saw, I'm also doing like this health and fitness journey. So he wanted to lose weight and, go on this big health and fitness journey. So he asked if it would be okay to share his like fitness stuff on like the Apple Watch, because I have an Apple Watch and that's how I track my fitness. And I was like, sure.
Okay.
So I shared it, and it's just so fun watching him progress. He's lost a ton of weight. He's doing really well. And like his wife is so sweet. She is like his biggest supporter, but it's so fun to like, be able to do the little replies on the Apple Watch when I see that he's like met all his goals for the day, and I do that with a bunch of different friends, but that's just an example of one of the friends that I collected last year, that I still keep in touch with on a somewhat regular basis.
That's pretty fun. Yep. And maybe you just start your own video series of the fitness videos instead of just taking off. You have plenty of time in your schedule to add a fitness video series.
So who knows? I might branch off. Pilot Christy, does yoga. I don't know.
You can host your own yoga classes at Oshkosh then.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine that.
Like downward facing airplane.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No. You can call it the long easy.
Oh my God. Yes. All right, guys. Now we're going to stretch and we're going to canard. Breathe in.
That's awesome. I love it.
Geez. That tickled me far more than I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So let's talk about what you guys are up to with taking off a little bit. What do you guys have in store for Oshkosh? You mentioned that there's a couple of different opportunities that you guys are going to have to meet up with fans. And
yes. Okay. So the first thing we're doing is we're doing the big YouTuber meetup. It's going to be on Monday afternoon. I don't have the flyer in front of me right now. Like, as my producer, Dan kind of just schedules everything for me. I told him I'm just the talent. Just
I was going to say
be there. Yeah. So I know I think it's like at 2:30 p.m. on Monday, like Pavilion 9 or something. I think is what it is. Thank you.
I just looked at the flyer.
Okay, perfect. Now that you're better than me. And then there's also going to be a meet and greet just for Dan and I without us filming or anything. We're doing that on Wednesday at the Flying Ice booth. But in addition to that, we're also going to be doing like filming. We're going to be taping in the hangars at the Flying Ice booth. And I think we'll be there every day except Wednesday and Friday, because I told Dan I want days off to go do hood rat things with my friends at Oshkosh. So, so that's what he's gone ahead and given us a couple days off. And then that also, it's strategic though. Cause I'm like, look, you need time to edit stuff and get that pushed out as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. But if you guys, if people walk by and they see us filming, if we're in between filming or just hanging out at the Flying Ice booth, because there's going to be plenty of that, feel free to stop by and say hi. We love to meet the fans, because like the fans are why we're here,
Yeah, for sure. Anything else, Oshkosh, that you want to cover before we bid you good night?
Read the NOTAMs.
Yes.
Flying in, read the NOTAMs. If you're driving in, you know what? Read the NOTAMs. So, well, I think they changed the verbiage. It's not really the NOTAM anymore. I think they're calling it the notice.
The notice, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like very like, ooh, you're like, notice of what? So.
Well, I told Brian yesterday that I'm going to plan on driving the Fisk Arrival. The only thing I'm not sure about is I don't know how I'm going to follow the tracks in my car.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
That's going to be problematic.
That might get a little bumpy.
I'm over the prison, gets arrested.
Oh my God.
I'll stay away from the prison.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I'm super excited. I'm really excited to see you guys there. So
yeah, same here. Good. It'll be awesome to see you.
Let's go do hood rat things at Oshkosh.
Love
you
it.
mean hanger rat?
Oh my God, we could do that too. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
We'll do all of it.
Yes.
Perfect. I love it.
Things.
All the things. All the plain things.
Is it harder to do hood rat things though when your dad is there, Maddie?
He wanted hood rat things too, as long as it's not like cocaine. He's cool. So
no, yeah, we only do cocaine during in the hangar. So
I think we'll be good then.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Christy. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, you guys. Thank you so much.
I want to welcome Jordan and Bob Garypie. They are behind Pilot Quarters. They've got some really cool aviation apparel that we'll talk about here in a second, but we'll also get into some Oshkosh chat because that's what this episode is all about. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us. Love to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you guys are out of Michigan now, right?
Yes.
Okay. But Jordan, you're with Embry-Riddle, so are you at Embry right now, or are you in Michigan?
So right now I'm in Michigan. I decided to take the summer back home, but I go to Embry-Riddle in Prescott.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool. There is one little fun factoid I want to point out here that I think is kind of cool. Jordan, you're pre-flighting an airplane right now, aren't you?
Right now, yeah, we just finished the pre-flight, just rolled it out, and then I'm starting it up right after this. So.
Is it factually accurate that you're talking to us on your headset?
Yep, this is through my 20s right now.
I absolutely love that. That is the most aviation thing I think we've done on this podcast ever. So as we get rolling here, talk to us a bit about your shirts. I know that you guys have like 600 different shirt designs from mostly customer requests. Is that right?
Yeah, we started with the idea. It was Jordan really was in his senior year of high school in a class about entrepreneurship, and we just kicked around a lot of ideas, and we came up with this. What if we could do Hawaiian shirts with sectional charts as a background to be conversation starters? And it's moved more and more towards sectional chart only shirts or sectional charts colorized with, so it sort of looks like we're introducing now like just a dark blue shirt, but you get up close and it's a sectional chart. So it's like, hey, wait a minute, what's that on your shirt? And we get requests all the time. Can you do my airport? Can you do our airport of our club? Can you do it for a military unit or something like that? So we just keep adding new shirts all the time. As a matter of fact, I'm just looking at my computer. We just did one for Daytona, and what's the little airport where all the Riddle kids go, Jordan? Just near Daytona. This guy lives in DeLand, Florida. And so we've got the Daytona and DeLand shirt is now live on Pilot Quarters.
Oh, cool. I saw some notes from you guys too do you have a special shirt just for Oshkosh this year?
Oh, we do. We came up with something which really I don't know, but it seems like nobody's ever done. We came up with a wings insignia, like a pilot wings. In the center of it, it says 2023 Fisk arrival. And it's to honor everybody who flies in to Oshkosh because the VFR Fisk approach arrival is the way you get there. And we know 10,000 guys are going to show up, and ladies. And so we know that we're thinking that might be a pretty hot commodity. So we're bringing a few hundred of those, and hopefully we'll run out quickly. And the back of the shirt actually has the airport diagram. And Jordan helped come up with that idea because he, as a fairly new private pilot last year, flew into Oshkosh in our Musketeer.
Cool. Oh, you got a Musketeer. All right, you guys.
That's awesome.
I'm a big fan now. I have a Sundowner, so I'm partial to the Beechcraft product. We were just talking to Christy Wong from Taking Off, and when we talked to her, I joked about how I've had conversations with driving the Fisk approach. Does that count for a T-shirt too? If I drive the Fisk approach?
Driving the Fisk, I know I've only ever driven it. I've never flown it. So maybe we need a T-shirt for the driving the Fisk. You know what? I might get that done in time for. The show.
Yeah,
I
plan on driving right down Fisk Avenue. I don't know how I'm going to rock my wings, but I'll figure something out.
All right, gentlemen, tell us please about your first Oshkosh experience.
What year was our first Oshkosh?
You were about 12, so that was about 9 years ago.
Oh man, I just remember being blown away because we started with I started out just riding in gliders with him when I was barely old enough to even walk and talk, getting zip tied into the back so that I wouldn't undo the seat belts. And we'd go up and fly around, and I'd always kind of loved airplanes growing up, and had all the little model toy airplanes, and then finally one year just decided that we were going to go to Oshkosh. I can't remember who brought it up to us, but they suggested we should go out there, and we drove out there, stayed for I think like 3 or 4 days, and just kept going back year after year. And my love for aviation just kind of sprung from there. I don't even remember half of what happened the first time I was there, but it's just, it's a staple of the year every year to go out there, and now to be able to fly in just makes it that much better because it's basically it's the Super Bowl for aviation. I love it, absolutely love it.
It's a good way of putting it. I love that. Bob, how about you?
I've always been really excited about the photography part of it. I love taking photos of airplanes, the ground planes and planes in the air, and during the air show, the night air show, the day air show, all of that stuff. And so taking photos was always a thing. And actually, Jordan had a camera in his hand. I've got pictures of him with a camera, and he had a camera in his hand too. And as a matter of fact, I think it must have been the second year we were there that Jordan took a particularly amazing photo of Sean D. Tucker's Oracle One. And I said, that is such a good photo. We really should get that printed. So we took it to the local pharmacy, got it printed to the biggest size they would do, like a 16 by 20. We got two of them because I said, we'll give him one and ask him to please sign one that you can keep. And we got that done in the very quick turnaround photo print. And then we set about trying to find Sean D. Tucker, and that was kind of fun. Turns out he was giving a presentation in the evening, so we found him wandering around in the presentation venue before it started. And Jordan, why don't you finish that story?
I think it was at the Fly-In Theater before they showed. It was right before they showed Planes for the first time, the Disney movie, and he was doing the intro for it or something. We found him in the back. I had him sign a photo, and I gave him one. And he said, "Okay, why don't you come find me tomorrow, and I'll give you some more info," because he was just jumping on stage in front of everybody. But he said, "How would you like to go flying upside down when you turn 14?" And I said, "That'd be the coolest thing ever." And so the next day I went and I found him, and he goes, "Okay, in a couple of years when you're ready to go, you come find me again here at Oshkosh, and then we'll schedule for you to go flying." So a couple of years down the road after that, I went and found him again, and I said, "Hey, remember this?" I showed him the photo and kind of the little exchange that we had, and he goes, "I do remember that." And he said, he gave me his phone number and said, "When I'm at the Cleveland Air Show in a couple months, you go meet me out there, and then we'll go flying upside down." So I went and met him out in. I got picked up from school early in September, I think, and we went down to Cleveland and jumped in the back. I can't remember I think it was an extra that he had, his kind of little people mover airplane, and jumped in that thing, taxied out behind the Thunderbirds that day, who were just getting in from practice, and then went and did a little 30-minute, I guess aerobatic instruction at the time, because we were going, doing flips, rolls, everything. He was handing me the controls. I was watching the vision go dark. And I loved every second of it. And from that point on, I was like, I'm finding a college to do aviation, and one day, I'm going to have a plane of my own to do this kind of stuff. It was so much fun. And that kind of just brought the magic of aviation, kind of EAA and all that together for me.
How awesome is that?
Wow.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty special.
Well, I'd ask my next question, but I think I'm not sure if there's a story you'll have that'll beat it, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you have a favorite Oshkosh memory, and why is it what you just told us?
That's definitely going to be it. Kind of just learning that the people that you see in the air shows, a lot of people will go to air shows that aren't kind of involved in aviation. And just go, "Oh, that's really cool. Look at, flipping upside down, all that." When you get to go and actually, especially at Oshkosh, everybody's super personable, and they're all hanging around all week. And you can find any one of the guys that are in the air show, or, any of the military guys on the demo teams or anything, and you can go talk to them and kind of just realize that they're people, and they go up there and they do actually pull as many G's as the air show announcer is yelling out, and you're just kind of mind blown that people can actually do that. It's one thing to go and watch, the smoke on and watch the airplanes flip in the air. It's another thing to get to know the guy and then go up with him and do the same thing and realize how much talent that really takes.
Go for the airplane, stay for the people, right?
Exactly.
I love that. That's perfect.
I did not come up with that. That has been said.
We've stolen it.
Yeah, I've stolen it. Everybody goes for aviation, whether they're involved really in aviation or not. I went in 2016 with my dad. We just were kind of enthusiasts. We just thought planes were neat. And then I got into aviation, and then everything got, cooler because now it's like, oh, I have like skin in the game almost. Like I know what these things are. And then every year I've gone since, I've made more friends or collected more people, seen old friends, met new ones. I think that's really special about Oshkosh.
That's amazing. And I think the reunion sense of it is as strong as the aviation sense, really, for many of us after going for a while. I'm sure you've seen these posts people post online on forums or on Facebook. I'm going to Oshkosh for the first time and I'm worried about X. And everybody sort of just jumps in and says, stop worrying, just go. It's going to be okay. Somebody will help you if you really need it. And it's true. I feel that's really true.
It's so cool how much, I kind of look back and see how much it's actually kind of influenced my life. I wouldn't be at Embry-Riddle playing golf if it wasn't for Oshkosh. Matt Chapman had it on the side of his airplane, and they had the biggest booth at Oshkosh, and that honestly played a big part when I was young, and I was super impressionable, and the biggest booth and the nicest airplanes immediately turned into that's where I'm going, and it kind of stuck with me my entire life. And, now I'm going to be finishing up there in 2 years, and it's, have an airline career, and it's all because of Oshkosh.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, I have a similar story. Funnily enough, I was already going to the college that I ended up doing aviation at. I had enrolled and I had started classes, and I was like, oh, they have an aviation program. How neat. And that's where, it started
awesome.
For me.
I have to throw in there that I still have a favorite memory that we didn't talk about, which was the year that
let's hear it.
It's the year that the night fireworks ended up in a huge rainstorm, and the fireworks just kept going, and the rain was coming down. And we have amazing photos of people running through ankle deep water trying to get away, but some people and the fireworks are still going off in the background, and it was just one of those memories that will never die.
Oh, I bet.
That's fantastic.
Do you see? So you've got pictures of people running through the water with fireworks going off still in the background?
Absolutely.
Oh, those got to be awesome.
And we sheltered right under a display Bonanza under the Bonanza tent and just camped under there until the rain was gone. I vividly remember that as well.
I feel like I remember that happening, but I also it could have just been one of those things,
No, it might have only been
rained, so
it was a Wednesday night air show.
Of course it was.
5 years. Yeah.
The joke we had last year is it will rain one day at Oshkosh and it's going to be Wednesday because it's always Wednesday.
Yep.
And then it was beautiful last year.
Yeah, we got fooled.
It was supposed to.
Yeah, the storm came in on the weekend before.
We almost got blown over. Yeah, it was an adventure. We watched it come in and we were all Midwestern watching the storm, and then the winds picked up and we're like, uh-oh. So we zipped in, braced.
It's actually the really big storms are just a great opportunity to spend a few hours in the museum.
There you go.
I did that.
They open it up, and out of 40,000 people in the campground, most of which are smart about weather because they're pilots, a good 200-300 of them show up in the museum. The rest of them just say, well, we're just going to ride it out.
Okay, so you clearly have already had the coolest of experiences of a lifetime. But what is something you guys are looking forward to this year at Osh?
Oh, man. I'm looking forward to, I'd say two things. I think the air show and display lineup's pretty special. I think Super Guppy's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of all the gigantic airplanes this year is going to be awesome. But I think another thing I'm looking forward to is this is the first year I've been able to claw out some of my teammates from the golf team and a bunch of other Embry-Riddle guys from Prescott that are actually going to fly up and come out, and hopefully we're all going to be camping together. And I'm really looking forward to that and kind of sharing that with even a couple of my non-pilot friends are flying in and staying the entire week
cool.
and camping with us. So it's going to be pretty special and pretty cool.
That's so fun.
How about you, Bob? What do you got?
Well, I mean, I have to say it's going to be a really different feel because pilot quarters, our business is we're going to be there. We're going to be in Hangar B in booth 2049, and we're going to be selling our shirts and also meeting many of our customers. We've sold thousands of these shirts to people all around the United States, and we have met them mostly over the phone and through email, and everything from the radio operator on Air Force One under President Bush to flight instructors that wanted a special shirt. We had a lady who was getting the Wright Brothers Award for 50 years of safe flight, and we designed a special dress for her. One half of it was the sectional chart from 1970, which we found in the Library of Congress archive from Madison, where she did her first solo flight, and the other side of it was current the current sectional chart from St. Louis, where she's still a flight instructor today. And
Awesome.
so to meet people and to share stories and to find out why they love our shirts, and also we have the occasional naysayers that I would never wear that. We've been telling them online every day. Bring it. Come and tell us why. Come and meet us. And give us a great idea for your next favorite shirt, because we'll do our best to make it. We know that putting a sectional chart on a shirt it's fun. It's a great way to start a story. It's not for every country club. I get it. They really are. They're really a lot of fun, and we're excited to share it with people, and we're excited to bring a bunch of those shirts there and share them with people, and hopefully they'll tell us more about why they love them and what their corner of the aviation world is about. Because to me, that's super fun, is to hear those stories and meet those people, and to meet them face to face is going to be really exciting for me.
Yeah, that sounds really cool too.
Sounds absolutely excellent.
So you're there all week then?
We're there all week. We've got our booth in Hangar B.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
Well, hopefully some of our listeners head out there and check out your shirts, get to meet you guys, hear some more stories, and enjoy the event.
For sure.
We're thinking about sending out an email to all our customers to have a day in place to meet, to do a group photo for everybody that's wearing their shirt. How cool would that be? So Jordan and I have been kicking that around. We'd like to do that and do an Oshkosh, obviously. But it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to be working pretty hard. Can I ask a question before we go?
You can ask all kinds of questions before we go.
I'd just like to know, what's your favorite memory of Oshkosh?
Maddie, I'm going to let you go first.
Rude.
Ladies first. That wasn't rude at all.
I take time to think, Jim.
Well, it's fun. I mean, we think about like everybody has that moment, because I think it has a little bit of a different feel for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That is very true.
I think it is. Ooh, that's a good question. Man.
Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay.
That's fine. I was going to formulate something, but
so my very first Oshkosh, I went with an ROTC program in high school, and between that trip to Oshkosh and some base visits, those experiences and exposure to like the aircraft inventory and, the professionalism of some of the airmen and the pilots and stuff that were there, that was a big driving force of why I joined the Air Force in the first place. Oshkosh played a role in that, but then more recently, I developed kind of a new favorite memory. I went with my friend Lion. He's actually the guy that does the voiceover at the very beginning of our podcast, the deeper voice that I can't do without making a fool of myself. So that's nice. Lion, really good friend of mine. He took me on my first actual G8 flight. I went with him back in 2018 is the last time I was actually able to make it out there. And we had a day to make of it. And that was pretty much it. And we're trying to figure out how on earth are we going to try to fit as much as we can in the day. We tried for a while, and then he's like, you know what, you got to check out, let's go to the seaplane base. I've never been to the seaplane base before. And we spent a good 2 hours just sitting out there, just relaxing under some shade, watching seaplanes, like you're hanging out at the lake. And it was so cool and just so relaxing that in the middle of this huge event that draws, 500,000 people every year, that we can find this little spot and just relax and enjoy ourselves. So I'm actually looking forward to getting back out to the seaplane base again this year, just to have a moment out there. It's just so cool out there to me.
I love it. I'll meet you there.
Let's do it.
There we go. I was actually thinking about the seaplane base myself. I think it was my first year or the second time I went. We went to the seaplane base as well. And, at Oshkosh, there's a certain sort of, I don't want to use the word purity, but kind of, it's just simple, fun. Everybody is having a great time, getting sunburned and looking at airplanes. Like, it is the most simplest joy that you will ever have. And it's like a week of it. It's awesome. But there's something about the seaplane base that just tones it down a little bit. You're still there with a bunch of people looking at airplanes, but it's just so calming in a way. I think my favorite memory, though, I've been tossing up between a few, but I think it would have been meeting Liz Cayley. We had Liz on the podcast a while ago. She's the one who writes all the Jeppesen textbooks. So she does all the flight training stuff. Really wonderful, really cool gal. She was there, and I was finishing up my instrument rating. I was really stressed about it because I never got ground school or anything. There was a lot of stress. And she was, selling books, and she was talking to people because she was the face of Jeppesen at that time. She went with all of her precious books, and she was the one selling them. That's her main thing, is she sells her work. She's the face of it. So it was cool to talk to her, and she took, seemed like she took an actual interest in me, and we talked for a long time. And that book ended up getting me through my instrument rating. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
But I think that one had to have been my favorite. Or my dad sleeping under an airplane. That was hilarious.
I'm going to blame it on you that I'm probably not going to sleep tonight now that you're just got all these memories are fresh. So
Sorry about that.
I've had a few sleepless nights just being excited about
Yes.
Oshkosh.
That's
What
great.
other kind of event does this to people?
I've had a really hard time focusing on my real job for the last week or so. It's not going to get any better.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to even talk about my real job. Yeah. This is the best. This is the best. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to see you out at Oshkosh.
Thank you so much for having us, and I can't wait to meet you face to face. This is great, and what you are doing is wonderful for aviation throughout the Midwest and really throughout the country. It's fantastic, and thank you for.
Thanks so much.
doing
We
that.
appreciate that.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Welcome aboard the Flying Midwest podcast. Our good friend, the Badger pilot. How you doing, Andrew?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Awesome.
Oh,
Great to have you on here. We talk about you a lot. We make jabs at you quite a bit, but to have you on the podcast, it's a real treat.
Yeah, well, you guys threw a lot of shade at me in the last one with Wisconsin. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a little bit of hostile territory, but
I specifically said Badger pilot, Flying Stampede, those guys are cool. Everyone else is suspect.
In the outtakes, yes.
It was in there, though.
It was in there, absolutely.
If people don't listen to the outtakes, that's not my fault.
Right, absolutely. I do need to say, so beer drinking is actually not our state sport. Beer drinking is our state pastime. But our state sport is actually mass arrival spot landings. How about that?
Well played, sir. Well played. I love that answer.
Oh, that was so funny. Oh my
Perfect.
God.
Maybe some people will participate in that. I don't know where to go after that spot landing. That was
that was fabulous.
that might just a mic drop and we're done.
Yeah, we're done with the podcast. Everybody can go home.
All right, sounds good. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you.
Man, so the big question is are you ready for Oshkosh?
I don't know that you can be fully ready, but I'm ready to be there and experience it all.
Okay.
But is anyone ever really ready for the whole thing?
Maybe it's my heart that thinks, like, in my heart, I'm ready to go. But the logical side of me is like, you have so much preparing to do. You got to charge this. You got to get some SD cards. You got to do that. So.
Oh, yeah. I don't even plan on worrying about filming. And I'm still like, I got to get my tent together. I got to get my camping stove together. I'm right there with you.
Are you going to be in Scholler?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
We will, too. So we'll see. I mean, I'm going to see you anyway, obviously. But welcome over to the camp whenever.
Absolutely.
So I got to ask an obvious question, too, of what do you call it? Do you call it Airventure? Do you call it Osh? Do you call it Oshkosh? Do you call it something completely different that no one else knows about? It's your Badger territory language? Or?
So I call it Airventure because for me, Oshkosh is just a normal airport the other 51 weeks out of the year. So for me, it's Airventure. But look, no one's getting offended at least I'm not. No one around here is getting offended if you call it Oshkosh. We know what it means if you're saying, hey, are you going to Oshkosh? We know it's going to mean for Airventure. We're not thinking, oh, you're just going to go get a burger at Artie and Ed's. So.
I mean,
I just want to be respectful of the people of Wisconsin after the last episode.
You're offending them in their culture, Jim.
I don't want to anymore. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf.
You're trying to be inclusive.
My dad lives in outside of Milwaukee, so I guess he's not suspect. He might be suspect, actually. Never mind. Love you, Pops. He listens to this too, so.
Oh, he called it the Flying Monkey Midwest podcast.
He is the one who, he's like, I listened to your new episode of the Flying Monkey podcast. I'm like, you're a jackass.
So for real, there's another podcast, Jim, I was telling you about this one, the Midlife Flying podcast that I listen to quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I often get the two names confused and mixed up just because my brain and my mouth and my tongue don't want to work the way they're supposed to. And, two podcasts that start with an M, with a mid, no less.
Yeah, with a mid.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we did a crossover episode, how confused you would be?
Oh my gosh. We should do it. I say we like I'm on the show. You guys should do it.
But since you listen to both and you are an avid fan of both, I feel like you could be the catalyst to this occurring.
Well, I don't know if I have that kind of pull, but if it happens, I'll take the credit.
I mean,
Okay.
you introduced me to the one and only Captain Joe, so you have some pull. You just got to play your cards.
That's not pull, that's just luck.
You could say that, but for all I knew, you just called over one of the coolest pilots on Earth and was like, "Hey, it's this gal who does this podcast." Like I was anything special. So,
well, he did actually owe me a favor because he asked me for directions to get to a stage. so now Captain Joe and I are even.
You got to play this cooler, man. Like, yeah, Captain Joe, we go way back.
Yeah.
Way back to 5 minutes before we met.
The time frame is not important. You knew him first. You made the connection. You should have just rolled with it. Maddie, I'm really glad that I could introduce you to my good friend Captain Joe.
That's almost how it went, though. It was almost like, "Oh, Captain Joe, this is Maddie. Maddie, this is Captain." Like Joe and I go way back.
He said, "This is Maddie from the Flying Midwest podcast." Like that meant anything. And I was like, "Oh my god, is this what it's like to be part of something really cool?" Oh my god.
We're so cool we don't even know it.
That's why we have all of our 5 listeners, 2 of which are my parents.
So my parents, your parents,
and
our buddy
pilot.
the Badger
That's
pilot
it.
Here, and
Ed.
That's 5.
And Ed listens.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So 6.
Caitlin listens. That's another one. Are we just going to sit here and list off former guests?
So Brian Turner listens. I'm wearing listens. So you're even,
you're wearing the hat.
Yeah, so I'm wearing the hat. I was ready. I didn't know I was going to either wear the Brian Turner hat or I've got my AOPA hat for the Richard McSpadden episode. Your viewers don't see this. This probably won't even make the episode anyways. I've got my Dangerous Flights, Carrie McCauley, autographed,
holy
personalized.
Cow, look at you.
To the Badger pilot.
To the Badger pilot.
I gotta go visit him at Osh.
I've got my Sporties, You Can Fly ground school. Go take your risk. That's for Rob Ryder.
That's a regular sheet of paper.
That's for Rob.
With Sharpie on it.
I couldn't find the actual one. It's representative. It's an audio podcast. Your viewers won't hear it. I've got my 70th anniversary sport aviation for Dick Lipinski. And of course, I have my METAR AF telling me that the dew point is 10, which is also how many times I'm going to bounce my landing today. I don't know how they always get it right. They always get it right.
It's genius.
They always get it right.
You've gone to another level with this, my friend.
He came with props and everything. Wow.
Look at all the props you brought to an audio podcast.
Yeah.
Which is also another tip of the hat to Mr. Brian Turner.
Well, that was the whole goal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that last episode you heard us talk about, you bring something visual to every episode that you're on. And
That's
you
true.
have outdone him just by a mile. Well done, sir. Well, I gotta, this is awesome. Actually, we're going to test something here that's never been done here on the Fly Midwest podcast.
Uh-oh. Are we live streaming?
Let's see how this goes. Can you hear that? They're just...
Congratulations, you've
Yeah,
gotten
just
the first
terrific
one.
work.
Oh, we've got cheers. All right.
That's funny.
Terrific work. All right, so this, by the way, is how we get so far behind.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we had the longest Midwest goodbye with
Bob.
With Bob. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked for a straight up half hour.
Bob's got some great shirts. You should check those out.
Yes.
Who is Bob?
Pilot
and
quarters.
What are these shirts? Oh, okay.
Pilot quarters. So the sectional chart shirts, the nice ones,
sure.
not the chart at all ones. And they're gonna have Oshkosh specific Fisk arrival shirts.
Oh, really? Very
and
cool.
dresses, but I don't know if you're into that. So
no,
I don't know. I'm not gonna judge.
To continue our common theme, he's going to work on a "I drove the Fisk arrival" T-shirt. So I'm going to, for those who drive down Fisk Avenue, rock back and forth in your car with your steering wheel violently like a NASCAR driver, and then drive to follow the tracks. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet.
You joke about that. Last year, you can find the video on my Instagram. That was one of my Instagram reels, was me rocking my steering wheel in my truck on my way to Oshkosh.
Well, that idea is gone.
You can still... nobody saw it. Nobody follows me. You can use it, and it'll be fresh.
All right, so since we're completely off the rails, I might as well try to follow us down the tracks here. See what I did there?
Oh,
I wasn't gonna say anything.
I was really proud of myself. I was hoping for some acknowledgement. Anyway, let's talk about, what was your first Airventure?
It's actually only 2 years ago. I really had no plans of even going, but my buddy invited me. He said he goes every year. He's a lifetime member, and he's like, well, bring a tent. You can sit on my campsite. And so, free camping. All I had to pay was my wristband, and off I went.
And now you're going to go every year from here on forth?
Yeah, pretty much. Every year I can, for sure.
That's fair.
My dad said, we went first time in 2016 before I was a pilot or was interested in aviation. He's like, yeah, maybe every 3 years. I'm like, Dad, this was really fun. Like, we do it like maybe every 2 years. We went again in 2018. That was when I signed up to become a pilot, and we have come every single year hence.
And that's the last time I went, is because I was there and Maddie was there at the same time, so I stopped going. 2018.
And actually, the funny thing, Maddie, is for me, Maddie, it was actually the opposite. Airventure sparked your journey to start getting your pilot's license, and for me, it was, well, I'm working on my pilot's license. I'm a student pilot. This just makes sense. So I was all excited to go to all the learn to fly seminars and all that. And you should have seen my calendar. It was 8 o'clock this one, 9 o'clock this one, 10 o'clock and there's no way you can do that. That's why I say I don't know if you can ever really be fully prepared for Oshkosh, or Airventure, or whatever you want to call it. I called it Oshkosh.
It is in the city of Oshkosh, so it's not like a disaster. It's not like calling up Waukesha or something. Is that how you say it?
Did you call it Waukesha?
Kenosha. How about Kenosha? I can pronounce that one.
Like Chewbacca Shaw?
I think you've lost your Midwest card there, Maddie.
Oh, I already did. Arkansas City is not in Oklahoma.
Like it's in Kansas, the state you live in.
Right.
I'm like, anything west or anything south of Wichita is Oklahoma in my book. It's like 10 miles from the border, so it's like
it really is. It's super close.
It's super close. Something
I'll
about
tell
my
you what it
pilot's
said. I
license.
have that message right here for everyone.
Oh my god, it was really. I read it and I like almost cried, and then I was like, you know what?
Oh my lord! Time for her to go back to navigation parts of her flight training. Boom. So that first year, did you have a favorite memory of the event, or just the awe-inspiring experience of being at Airventure?
I'd say definitely the overall awe-inspiring experience of being at Airventure. I tried cramming so much in, and the more I walked from one thing to another, the more I would get distracted, and that's a cool plane, or this looks like a cool seminar, and so just trying to really take in the whole experience. That was really the whole thing for me, and so I think I went to maybe a third of the seminars that I planned on going to, just walking around, seeing everything, meeting people, and running into people, whether it was famous YouTubers that I just happened to run into, or people that I was trying to seek out, and other friends and other pilots. Just, they always say that Airventure is a family reunion, and even though it was my first time there, I definitely got that impression. And so that was probably the aviation community in general is probably what stuck out the most for me.
I could see that common theme.
So overall, I know you've only been gone for a couple years. Overall, what is your favorite Oshkosh memory?
The nighttime
Airventure memory.
Oshkosh, Airventure, it's all the same. We're all good.
I mean, I assume you go to the city every once in a while for whatever reason, so I had to be specific.
So yeah, Oshkosh is a great place to go and fly, and they've got great controllers there right next to the city, and good restaurants too. So go there the other weeks too. But the nighttime air show was by far, it was incredible. The memory of it is unreal. I've never been the kind of person that is wowed or inspired by fireworks. Like, big deal. It's exploding lights in the sky, right? But seeing fireworks coming off of other planes while they're flying around in fireworks from it's one of the most awe-inspiring things I've seen as far as an air show and a display, and just, it was incredible. I wanted it to be every night.
There is something special about those night air shows.
I'm just really hoping that this year it doesn't make it storm night on Wednesday so that I can't see the night air show, because I'm going home Thursday morning. So
no, see, that's why you got to stay all week. You can get 2 air shows at night.
I could, but we have a family vacation right after Airventure, so I need to go home and prepare to go on another vacation. It's gonna be real rough.
Yeah, what a rough life over there from one vacation to another.
Yeah. Is there anything at this year's Airventure? So you notice that I'm very specifically pausing and using the word Airventure.
Well, Maddie caught me earlier. I said Oshkosh, so it's all right. Let it fly.
It's interchangeable. Anything that you're looking forward to this year?
I think seeing some people that like I said, the whole family reunion thing, seeing people that I only see once a year. This will be the first year that my daughters come up for a couple of days. They'll come up about halfway through the week. My wife's going to be coming up too. She's not really a camper, so we'll see how that part goes. She might just come up for the day. But my daughters are going to camp a couple nights. And so I'm hoping the first 3-4 days I can get everything done that I want to go see and let the rest of the weekend be geared completely towards them. And if they want to go see warbirds, they love warbirds, we'll go look at the warbirds. If they want to go get ice cream, we'll go get ice cream. I don't really care. I just want them to have a good time. But on top of that, my family is a big NASA family, my wife especially. We went down to Houston last year and toured the Space Center, and that really turned me on to the whole Artemis project and got me really inspired with that. So seeing the Super Guppy come in with all of the Artemis stuff, that's going to be number one on my list when I've got the whole family up there for sure.
That'll be so cool.
I'll see you there. I'm going to spend a significant amount of time looking at that stuff. I'm so pumped for that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Super nerd mode activate.
Yeah, well, same. I think I've said this a couple times, but I was able to see the Super Guppy coming into McConnell Air Force Base. I was like pre-flighting with a student. I was like, what's that noise? And I look, it's the damn Super Guppy. I'm like, what is going on? It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and my student's like, okay.
Nerd.
Yeah, pretty much. And then, it was like my most emotionless student.
So if I were to bring a plane up there, I'm driving up, but if I were to bring a plane and we did a lap together, could I log it as dual so we could finally have a listener who's also a student of yours? Would that be all right?
Yeah, just once.
I feel like that joke did not go over as well as I hoped. I know, but you don't tell your students about the podcast is what I was getting at.
I do. I do now.
Oh, you do now.
Because I'm not a well, I teach
because I'm not a professional. That's what I just heard you say.
I teach part 61 now. I wear the uniform, but it's 61, so I don't feel like I need to be the utmost authority and like be really professional all the time. Not like I'm good at that anyway, but you know what I mean.
We know.
Oh, I've got stories.
The boss knows about my podcast. One of my coworkers theoretically listens to the podcast or has come across the podcast and was like, "Oh, that was you. I heard you on this podcast." I'm like, "Oh my god."
You sound like Maddie from the Flying Midwest podcast. Is that
you? No, totally not. Hoping I never said anything negative about my coworkers.
I cut most of the stuff you say about your coworkers. You're safe. Except for that comment that I said just now is going to make it in the episode.
Damn it.
Like, I cut most of the bad things you say about your coworkers. Now they're going to ask questions.
Right. Is that me you're talking about? What did you say?
So, Andrew, please tell us a little bit more about your up-and-coming growing YouTube channel.
Up and coming, yes. Growing, not so much, and that's okay. I'm not doing it for the followers. I enjoy the editing process, but it's basically just following me around flying Wisconsin and the Midwest, and 99% of the flights I have are uneventful, which is what we want. So I just delete the video right away. But anytime something somewhat interesting happens, then I'll throw it on video, and I try and keep them relatively short because I know I have a short attention span watching videos. I'm sure other people do too. But it all kind of started because I had a bird strike and the live ATC audio was terrible. And that was the most aggravating part of the whole thing for me was I wasn't able to go back and really do a thorough debrief of it. So it turned into just throwing a camera in the plane, doing some audio recording. And like I said, I really enjoy the editing process. And so it just sort of turned into the occasional, this looks like it might be an interesting video for people type of thing.
Well, I see your videos pop up every once in a while. I was like, wow, they look really nice. Like you're doing it. Like it looks good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I do like your edits. I think my favorite one so far, and I think it's just because you're going to Oshkosh, not at Oshkosh. For some reason, I like that video. You guys, it's you and Ed. Was Caitlin there? I can't remember. Or was just you and Ed?
Caitlin wasn't there for that one. It was just Ed and me.
But I really enjoyed that video.
Thank you. And the nice thing is Ed did his own video of that flight as well. And so you get...
I don't watch his stuff, so...
Dang.
Well,
I'm
you should.
kidding.
You should, and your
I'm
listeners
kidding.
should. Go check out the Flying Stampede. He's flying all around Wisconsin, getting his. He probably talked about it on your show already, but
we recorded an interview with him. It has not aired yet, so people can look forward to that episode.
Well, they'll be on the this episode actually too, because they.
That's right. They're. Oh my goodness, I'm dumb. They are on this episode too, but their main episode will air later. Do you care if we make an Instagram reel out of your nonsense you did earlier with all the visuals?
Oh, do it.
How do you feel
Absolutely.
about that?
Go
Okay.
for it.
Because I think that might be a thing I can do.
I'm surprised you asked him. I would have just done it.
I am respectful of our listeners, Maddie.
Well, I don't know how it works in Minnesota, but Wisconsin, it's a single party consent for recording, so go nuts.
That's so funny.
Oh, you're going to be all over the internet. It's going to be great.
That is.
Oh, you already are. Never mind.
So funny. It was so funny.
That was so well done. I applaud you, sir. That has been my favorite part of the whole night.
Good, I'm glad. I was running up and down the stairs. I was getting winded. My daughter's like, "Dad, what are you doing? Don't worry about it."
Like this joke is going to land so hard. It's going to bounce like I do at the airport.
Oh!
Andrew, it has been so much fun having you on the Flying Midwest podcast tonight. Thank you for your continued support of us. We hope for nothing but great things out of your channel. I will mention that maybe if your videos are outside of Wisconsin, maybe you'll get some more viewers. But just something to think about. There's my Wisconsin dig. You're welcome.
There it is. Yeah. I have a video going to Dubuque. Not quite Waterloo, but Dubuque.
But Iowa's not better than Wisconsin. Wisconsin's way better than Iowa. I'm going to make so many enemies doing this podcast.
That's okay. I've said I hate Ohio in like every podcast for the last month. So
I think between the three of us, it probably evens out. Like I don't mind Ohio. Ohio's fine. Well, we look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. So this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. If you guys see me, I'll be wearing some sort of probably Flying Midwest shirt or any sort of Flying Midwest media type of stuff. If you see a random guy with a beard and a just plain silly hat, it's probably me. Come say hi, whether you know who I am or not, and maybe I'll have a Badger pilot hat by then. Who knows? So come, if you see me out there, whether it's you guys or your listeners, come say hi. I'd love to meet you guys.
Sweet.
Well,
oh my goodness, that was so much fun.
Oh, that was so much fun. We have some really cool listeners.
We do. I want to pick a favorite part, but it's like picking a favorite child.
So you secretly have a favorite, but you have to say that you love them equally.
No, there were parts of each one of those folks that was really fun. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Badger pilot bringing all that crap out was awesome.
Oh my god, that was so funny. That was fabulous.
That was a real highlight. That's the mark of a true fan. So, man, I appreciate that guy.
Oh,
I appreciate all of our listeners, but that was really fun.
He goes the extra mile and everything. So
here's the deal. We will be posting a reel of that today to show you all of the fun that Andrew brought to the table on that interview. So you've probably stuck with us this far into the podcast. We appreciate you listening to our second annual Airventure call-in Extravaganza Spectacular Extraordinaire. We will add another word yet next year. We'll take it up for voting consideration possibly when we add the next word. It'll be a really long title in about 10 years from now. So stay tuned for that too.
Well, this has been fun, but as with all good things, it must come to an end.
It's true.
You can find us on all our social media, Flying Midwest Podcast. If you want to get together with us at Oshkosh and you want to coordinate, just shoot us a messenger message or an email. We'll get back to you and we'll meet up with you because that's cool.
Yep. Yeah, we want to take this opportunity to meet as many listeners as want to meet us. So if you're a listener and don't want to meet us, that's on you. Otherwise, we'll make ourselves available to the best of our ability.
See you at Oshkosh.
See ya.
See ya.
Flight 536, contact Minneapolis Center 132.35 today.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Flying Midwest podcast. Until next time, podcast service terminated, squawk VFR, frequency change approved. Good day.